Hello and a very good morning. You're watching the breakfast news on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Before we begin with the headlines from everyone here at Rajya Sabha television, I'd like to wish you all a very happy and colourful Holi. Let's now bring you the headlines. The Union Cabinet clears a bill to confiscate assets of economic offenders who flee the country, also approves new regulator to oversee auditors. The National Financial Reporting Authority will have powers to investigate CAs and their audit firms of all listed companies and large unlisted companies. SBI hikes lending rate for the first time since April 2016. Punjab National Bank and the country's largest private sector bank follow suit. EMIs for home and car loans to go up by up to 20 basis points. Repolling underway in 13 booths spread across 9 assembly constituencies in Nagaland, counting to be held on March 3rd, on the same day as the results of the Tripura, Nagaland and Meghalaya assembly elections. Vietnamese President Tran Dai Quang will be on a 3-day visit to India. Defence and trade to top the agenda. Visit will mark the completion of 45 years of establishment of diplomatic ties between India and Vietnam. And Holi celebrations begin across the country. Revelers bring in the festival with a riot of colours. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi greet the country on the occasion. Well, in a landmark move, the Cabinet on Thursday approved a stringent bill to deal with economic offenders to deter fraudsters like jeweller Nirav Modi from fleeing the country. The Cabinet meeting, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, approved the Fugitive Economic Offenders Bill on Thursday. The bill provides for confiscating assets without conviction in cases where economic offenders flee the country. These assets would then be sold to pay off the lenders. The provisioners of the bill will be applicable on economic offenders who refuse to return, persons against whom an arrest warrant has been issued, as well as willful bank loan defaulters with outstanding over 100 crore rupees. The bill is likely to be brought before Parliament in the second half of the budget session beginning on the 5th of March.
किसी कॉम्पिटेंट कोर्ट का अरेस्ट वारंट उसके खिलाफ है उस ऑफेंस के तहत और उसको उससे बचने के लिए, उसको अवॉइड करने के लिए वो देश से बाहर चला जाता है तो कोर्ट कैन डिक्लेयर हिम एज अ फ्यूजिटिव ऑफेंडर. फ्यूजिटिव ऑफेंडर डिक्लेयर होने के कई कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस होंगे. There will be several consequences. It will lead to confiscation of all his assets in India. It's not merely proceeds of crime or profits of crime, but it will be applicable to all his assets. और इन assets में अगर उसके कोई बेनामी assets भी होंगे तो वो भी इसके अंदर तहत शामिल किए जाएंगे.
Well, the Cabinet also approved setting up the National Financial Reporting Authority, which will be an independent regulator for the auditing profession. The decision to set up NFRA comes in the backdrop of various auditing lapses in the banking sector, including the 12,700 crore rupees fraud at Punjab National Bank. The jurisdiction will extend to all listed companies as well as large unlisted public companies. The regulator would have a chairperson and 3 full-time members. Besides, there would be a secretary. Meanwhile, a US court has passed an interim order that prevents creditors from collecting debt from Punjab National Bank fraud case accused Nirav Modi's international jewellery business Firestar Diamond. This comes after Firestar Diamond has filed for bankruptcy in the United States. In another court filing, Firestar Diamond has revealed a complex web of companies which said that the majority of the stakes in the company ends up with Nirav Modi. As part of the multi-agency probe, the Central Bureau of Investigation has arrested another senior executive of the Punjab National Bank. The agency has claimed to have recovered documents related to the letters of undertaking as it continued its searches in connection with the fraud. The agency has also arrested the internal chief auditor of the bank. Meanwhile, the Enforcement Directorate has moved a special court in Mumbai seeking a non-bailable warrant against Geetanjali Gems' promoter Mehul Choksi. The agency has also moved another court seeking permission to search the South Mumbai residence of billionaire diamond merchant Nirav Modi. Well, the CBI also has filed an FIR against former chairman and managing director of the United Bank of India, Archana Bhargava. The agency has filed the report on charges of amassing disproportionate assets to the tune of 3.6 crore rupees. The CBI has alleged that during her tenure at various banks and senior positions between 2004 and 2014, Bhargava amassed assets worth 4.89 crore rupees and incurred an additional expenditure of 1.47 crore rupees against the income of 2.73 crore rupees. Well, for the first time in over 2 years, banks have increased the interest rates, indicating a change in the rate cycle. The country's largest lender, State Bank of India, and the largest private sector bank, ICICI Bank, increased lending rates by up to 20 basis points, a move that will increase equated monthly installments for home car loans for its customers. While the SBI increased the one-year marginal cost of funds-based lending rate by 20 bips to 8.15%, ICICI Bank hiked it by 10 bips to 8.3%. MCLR is the benchmark rate to which all the loan rates are linked. Rates in all other tenures of MCLR have also been increased. Most loans are linked to one-year MCLR. This is the first time banks have increased MCLR since its introduction in April 2016. The new rates, effective from March 1st, will be applicable to new customers. For the existing customers, the new rates will come into effect when the interest rates are reset. A 10 bips increase in the lending rate for a 10 lakh rupees home loan of 20 years will result in an EMI increase of 63 rupees. Meanwhile, PNB increased its loan prices by 15 bips to 8.3%. It also raised the overnight 1-month, 3-month and 6-month rates by 15 bips to 7.8%, 7.95% and 8.1% and also 8.25% respectively. The bank also increased its retail and bulk term deposits by up to 45 basis points. Well, in the wake of the massive PNB fraud that has rocked the banking industry, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has stressed on the need for civil accounts officials to maintain highest levels of integrity and efficiency and to keep the system corruption-free.
Civil accounts officers and staff need to maintain highest levels of integrity and efficiency as great sanctity is attached to the accounting system. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said this while addressing the 42nd Civil Accounts Day function in New Delhi on Thursday. He said that civil accounts officials have a great responsibility to keep the system unbiased and free of corruption. The Finance Minister also said that there is no scope for error in the accounting system.
One factor which makes this service stand out, and those involved in this, that in various departments of the government we can live with a reasonably high level of efficiency. We can make them as much error-free as possible. But this is one service where people have to be trained for 100% efficiency and correctness level. This is one service.
Jaitley also stressed on the need for better technology in the banking system and noted that effective use of technology is helping the accounting system by making tasks easier. Following the massive PNB fraud case, the Indian industry has called for better and high-tech control systems to check financial frauds.
And therefore, I think it's extremely important that the kind of culture in this service which has to develop has to fully appreciate the sanctity of what they are doing And it is because of that sanctity of the work being appreciated and the highest levels of efficiency and accuracy being expected, which adds to the integrity of the accounting system of the government.
At the event, Jaitley also said that revolutionary changes in policy have been made by the government, like direct benefit transfer, the goods and services tax, and in the direct tax system. He also inaugurated the online GPF module at the event. The facility will benefit over 30 lakh employees of the central government. Jaitley also inaugurated ePPO module for complete end-to-end electronic processing of pension cases. Aruna Thakur's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, mobile carrier Aircel Limited under a high debt pile worth of 15,500 crore rupees and mounting losses filed for bankruptcy. In a statement, Aircel said the board of directors for the company acknowledged that it has been facing troubled times in a highly financial stressed telecom industry owing to intense competition following the disruptive entry of a new player, legal and regulatory challenges, high level of unsustainable debt and increased losses. This has caused significant negative business and reputational impact on the company. The filing was made in National Company Law Tribunal in Mumbai after a joint lenders forum meeting. Aircel had recently shut its services in 6 circles: Gujarat, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh West. The entry of aggressive newcomer Reliance Jio and its disruptive offerings have forced mobile operators to respond with matching tariffs, hurting their financials and increasing their debt burden. Many of these smaller operators have succumbed to market pressure and opted to merge or get acquired by larger players. Well, the Ministry of Railways has announced that merchant discount rate charges will not be levied on passengers for booking railway tickets on payment made through debit cards for a transaction value up to 1 lakh rupees. In a statement, the ministry said instructions to this effect have been issued by the banks by the Department of Financial Services. It said the move will further help promote digital and cashless transactions. The MDR charges are imposed by banks on the merchant for providing debit and credit card services. The Ministry of Railways had informed the Department of Expenditure that all proceeds from the sale of tickets through IRCTC website and counters go to the Consolidated Fund of India, and such transactions should be considered as government receipts. The ministry added that the benefits on government transactions must be passed on to the public and they should not face MDR charges while making payments to the government. Besides, the Indian Railways has initiated the facility of printing ticket details in local language on unreserved tickets issued through unreserved ticketing system, with first such language being Kannada. The facility was under testing at Mysuru, Bengaluru and Hubli stations, with tickets being issued from one counter as trial. It will be extended to all other stations of Karnataka from today. Well, Holi, the festival of colours, is being celebrated across the country today with traditional fervour and gaiety. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have extended their greetings and good wishes to the citizens on the occasion. In a tweet, President Kovind said that Holi is a celebration of harmony in society and it conveys a message of unity, goodwill and fraternity. He expressed confidence that the festival will bring joy and prosperity to everyone's lives. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also greeted the nation on the occasion. Well, we'll now slip into a break with celebratory visuals from across the country.
Chemistry has done a lot of advancement. Now our challenge is to revisit all chemistry in a different way. Most of the chemistry we have developed, in fact, not green. We have to revisit them, remake them, reorganize them to eliminate the side effect, make them greener.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Dibakar Chandradeva, Professor, Department of Chemistry at Guwahati University, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, repolling is taking place in 13 booths spread across 9 assembly constituencies in Nagaland. The 9 constituencies where repolling is taking place are Tamlu, Peren, Kohima Town, Chizami, Pek, Meluri, Tizit, Pungro, Kipre and Longkimchare. Repolling was ordered following reports of snatching of EVMs, misuse of electoral photo identity cards and miscreants not allowing voters to exercise their franchise. Counting will be held on March 3rd on the same day as the results of the Tripura, Nagaland, Meghalaya Assembly elections. You can catch all the action of counting day live on Rajya Sabha television from 8 a.m. onwards on March the 3rd, Saturday. Meanwhile, 2 Indian Army jawans and a civilian have been injured in a ceasefire violation along the line of control in Poonch district and Naushera town of Jammu and Kashmir. According to reports, the Pakistan troops resorted to heavy mortar shelling in Sundarban, Mangyote, Kalai and Minka sector. The Pakistani army also targeted civilian areas in Kalsia, Hania, Troinala, Baba Khori and Naushera town. A civilian has been injured in the shelling in Kalsia. 2 Pakistani soldiers have also been killed in retaliatory fire by Indian troops. Meanwhile, Pakistan has summoned India's Deputy High Commissioner J.P. Singh over the issue of an unprovoked firing by Indian troops across the line of control which killed a 70-year-old man. Well, Minister of State for Defence Subhash Bhamre expressed concern over activities at the LAC on the India-China border. Terming the situation as sensitive while addressing the army seminar, Bhamre said that it had the potential of escalation. Here's more.
India will continue to give a strong reply to Pakistan's acts of infiltration and ceasefire violations on the border. Minister of State for Defence Subhash Bhamre said this while addressing the annual army seminar in New Delhi. He also said the situation along the line of actual control was sensitive and could escalate.
On the line of actual control, the situation is sensitive as incidents of patrolling, transgression and standoff have a potential of escalation. While confidence-building measures are being enhanced, we shall continue to take all actions as deemed necessary to ensure the sanctity of line of actual control.
Speaking at the seminar, Army Chief Bipin Rawat said India's economic development must go hand in hand with modernization of the armed forces. He said the security of the nation is vital for its economic development.
Economic development and military modernization and the existence of the armed forces have to go concurrently hand in hand. They cannot be divested from each other. Economic rise will take place if the country is secure.
The theme of the annual Army Seminar for 2017-18 was Contribution of the Army towards Nation Building. Strategic experts, former Army officers and DRDO officials discussed the role of the Army in nation building during the one-day seminar. With inputs from Mohammad Fateh Tipu, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Vietnam's President Tran Dai Quang will arrive in India today. Quang will be on a 3-day visit to India. He will be accompanied by an 18-member delegation including Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Pham Binh Minh, as well as the Ministers for Trade and Industry and Planning and Investment. The visit aims to mark the completion of 45 years of establishment of diplomatic ties between India and Vietnam, and the two countries will reiterate commitment amid reports of further Chinese military build-up in the South China Sea to further expand their defense and security ties. During his visit, Quang will attend a program in Bodh Gaya, after which he will meet Minister of Agriculture Dr. Prem Kumar. On Saturday, he will hold bilateral talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi called upon Muslim youth to learn modern technology along with the values of their religion. He said India has always been the cradle of all religions and diversity has been in its social ethos. Pitching for a moderate Islam, Jordan King Abdullah II said all religions have lived together in the past. This, he said, should continue for peace and prosperity in the world.
Addressing Muslim scholars in Delhi, the Prime Minister called upon Muslim youth to keep the Quran in one hand and the computer in the other.
पूरी खुशहाली, समग्र विकास तभी संभव है जब आप यह देखें कि मुस्लिम युवाओं के एक हाथ में कुरान शरीफ है तो दूसरे हाथ में कंप्यूटर है.
Visiting Jordanian King Abdullah, who also spoke at the event, said that there is a need to reclaim the airwaves and internet from the voices of hate. He said radicalization is against Islam that teaches tolerance for other faiths.
The truth is that today's global war against terror is not a fight between different religions or peoples. It is between moderates of all faiths and communities against extremists whose faith is hate and violence.
Before their speeches, Prime Minister Modi presented the first copy of the Urdu translation of the book, A Thinking Person's Guide to Islam, to King Abdullah II. Written by Prince Ghazi bin Muhammad of Jordan, the book has been translated by Maulana Mahmood Madani, the General Secretary of Jamaat Ulema-e-Hind, who also spoke on the occasion. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, moving ahead with its outreach to the Middle East, India on Thursday said it will deepen its ties with Jordan, another important country of the region. Prime Minister Modi and visiting Jordanian King Abdullah II approved a joint strategy on regional international issues of concern. Both leaders decided to share strategies of de-radicalization to defeat forces of fundamentalism and terrorism. Akhilesh Suman reports.
Jordan King Abdullah II held a summit-level meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. 12 agreements were signed between the two countries after the meeting. The agreement on defense cooperation will include training, industry, education, military medical services, cyber security, counter-terrorism and peacekeeping missions. Other areas in which agreements were signed are information technology, health, administration, customs, media, tourism and supply of phosphates.
Both leaders renewed their support and commitment to the Palestinian cause. His Majesty was appreciative of our Prime Minister undertaking a stand-alone visit to Palestine through Amman. He commended the role India is playing in the region. Both leaders welcome the signing of the MOU on defense cooperation. There is keenness on both sides to take this cooperation further.
India has also pledged support with medicines and vaccines worth $5 million. Last year, India had given $2 million in cash to Jordan.
See, there are about 1.3 million Syrian refugees in Jordan. This is in addition to refugees who had earlier come from Iraq, and of course, a lot of Palestinian refugees who had come earlier. So therefore, yes, Jordan needs assistance. And what we plan to do this year, and particularly during this visit, that we will be giving them assistance worth $5 million in the form of vaccines and medicines.
Both leaders also talked about cooperation in African regions and Palestine. They also expressed readiness to initiate cooperation in mining and renewable energy, especially on cooperation in solar energy. The Jordanian king also met Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and spoke on issues of mutual bilateral interests. While this is the king's second visit to India after 2006, both countries began serious talks on issues like security since 2016.
Jordanian king is direct descendant of Prophet Muhammad, and in this way his visit to India is quite good messaging to the world. He has enough experience in de-radicalization and he has also experience in living in difficult territory. India wants to learn from his experiences. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Manoj in Delhi.
Well, now the news now. The US administration has described India as an incredibly valuable and close counter-terrorism partner and said the future is very bright for bilateral cooperation. US counter-terrorism coordinator Nathan Sales credited the meetings between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Trump as the reason behind a powerful partnership between the two nations. Sales also added that the Trump administration has announced a number of designations related to terrorist threats that India faces. He said South Asia is one of the areas of the world where ISIS has an increasingly robust presence. In 2016, the US entered into an arrangement with India to share information about known and suspected terrorists. Sales said that the US is also working with its partners to develop a set of responses which include things like information sharing, exchanging data about known and suspected terrorists, and improving border security efforts to spot terrorists. Well, US President Donald Trump said that the United States will impose tariffs of 25% on steel imports and 10% on imported aluminium next week. He made the announcement during a meeting with executives of steel and aluminium companies. Trump also talked about washing machine tariffs and solar panel tariffs and asserted companies are opening closed plants in the United States. He reiterated that he doesn't blame other countries if other US leaders agreed to bad deals. Trump said if a country can't make aluminium and steel, it's almost not a country. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of the Bulletin. I'd like to wish all our viewers once again a very happy and colourful Holi.